caring for people was just part of me. I felt that's what the Lord led me to do. In 1986, my own mother was diagnosed with cancer, and 6 months later she died. And I kept thinking, there's got to be a better way for people to go through this dying process than what I was facing with my mom in that situation. So when hospice became more popular and Comfort House was being built, and they were asking for employees, I interviewed and was hired pretty much right away, which just was a blessing to me. So it was very important for me to fulfill what I saw a need to care for other people in that dying process and their families in a home setting.
And the reason I got into hospice was my sister was 48 years old and had a terminal diagnosis, and I was introduced to hospice at that point and saw the mission that they did for caring for people. And I think a lot of us in hospice and healthcare, we do it because of a personal connection that we have. The services that Hospice of Pella does is we have, of course, the Comfort House serves people for hospital-like care who have a terminal illness, but maybe cannot be taken care of at home. Then we also do home hospice, where we travel to patients' homes. And so we go into people's homes and work with them. Another service that we provide is palliative care services. And that typically is for patients who have a life-limiting disease, but a prognosis of greater than 6 months.
We also care for patients of all ages. We haven't just had the older people typically think in their 80s, 90s, when their normal lifespan is about over, but we have younger people too. In the past, we also did have babies or toddler type ages. It's not just the elderly that we care for or cancer patients. It's a wide variety. Anybody that has a 6-month diagnosis that is met with the criteria that Comfort House or hospice in general meets, we care for them. Hospice of Pella also has several other outreach things that we do for the communities. We have the Empty Cradle program and support bereavement groups through that. That is set up for families, the parents of a baby that maybe was stillborn, miscarried, a grieving support that hospice does for those people, that they aren't walking that path alone either.
And the bereavement support group too is just a great group that is led by our social worker and our bereavement counselor. Grief is a very difficult thing and not something you get over. It's something you live with. Oftentimes people say, you don't know what it's like unless you've been through it. And that's really the purpose of a grief support group, is to meet with others who have similar stories. They can walk alongside each other and they become friends. We're coaches. So we're coaching people through the dying process.
It just gives that caregiver a relief. They can be the spouse, they can be the loving family member, and we can do all that caregiving. There's just memories all along, and we remember many of our patients by name, and they all become a little part of us. For a while, we had several young ladies that were getting married at different times, of course, and their grandmas were here. They knew Grandma wouldn't be able to still be alive at their wedding, so they brought their wedding dresses here and dressed in them and showed their grandma what they would look like in their wedding dress. And that was touching. And it's another thing how we can let those patients, be part of life until they die.
My couple that stick out in my mind was I had one patient. She had one thing she wanted to do before she died. And I asked her what that was. And she said, I want to go skydiving. We were able to help. The family got it all arranged and transported her there. And she didn't want to have any pain pills before she did her skydiving episode. She wanted to feel it all. She wanted to experience it all. And so after she rode tandem with the skydiver, and as soon as she hit the ground, one daughter came to her with her pain pill and the other with her bottle of water. And so it was just a beautiful thing for her to be able to do that. It is so important for communities to have hospice, and we are so thankful for the support from the Pella community that we have for hospice.